The Adventures of David Liebehart. The Adventures of David Liebehart. Broadcast. Chesapeake, Ohio was my favorite railroad. It went from Michigan to Washington State. Chesapeake, Ohio had a kitty sleeping on a pillow so sweet. I love the Chesapeake, Ohio. It was blue and yellow. It was like a handsome fellow that a girl would want. Chesapeake, Ohio, favorite kitty cats with the cats sleeping on the pillow. It went from Chicago all the way to St. Louis. Now it's called the CSX, the freight that runs it now. But Chesapeake, Ohio was a railroad. Now Chesapeake, Ohio was my favorite railroad that ran with the New York Central line. It went with the Wolverine all the way to North Michigan. Then it came down to Washington, D.C. It was a traditional train, plain it blue and yellow. It was my favorite good-looking fellow. It's called the Chesapeake, Ohio Railroad. It's called the Chesapeake, Ohio Railroad that likes kitty cats that sleep on pillows. Yeah, that's it.
Beautiful.
Well, as is the broadcast, David Liebehart. We're back in West Virginia, and I'm so sad that Larry Gross didn't come to the show, or none of the Christian Scientists I invited, and they said they were going to come. Wish you the best, Larry Gross. If you hear this broadcast, I see you're. I want to be on your own show since you interview musicians, and I always looked up to you and loved your music. I like the way you did the Christian Science albums of Peace and Joy and Power. You did them to the traditional music that was in the hymnal with guitar, and I thought that was cool. And I got a lot of your CDs at home, and you and Mindy Jostin. Mindy Jostin went to Principia College with my cousin Janet Grange. She became a big lawyer for Kraft Cheese. Unfortunately, she didn't stay with Christian Science, but she was, wonderful. I wrote a song about her. You can hear on my mixtape 3. Wow, we had to stop so Jonah wouldn't give the other car a kiss, a back end. But you're going to do the bump with the car, and I'm glad he stopped so he wouldn't have to pay for that. We've been in a heap of trouble, as my grandmother Schroeder would say. I enjoyed being in Pennsylvania. My roots are there. My dad was born there. My grandmother was from there. I have really strong roots. I am supposed to inherit property in Pennsylvania. I'm going to show Jonah the paperwork, and I need to get it. So if you're a lawyer or an attorney and you're a David Liebehart fan, I'd like to help me get that property I'm supposed to inherit. And I'm glad it's not raining today, because I'm glad my prayers came true for protection for the people in Florida. I was praying that Hurricane Irene would go back out into the ocean and leave the United States alone. I was working with all the songs I wrote on protection from my album Christian Hymns and Praise Part 1. All the songs I've written about it, protection, and it was so nice that a fan drove me around to drop off my music, and it was great. Anyway, what town are we in now?
I don't know what this town is.
It's a what's a town. I want to know what this town Jonah's driving in. He calls it a what's a town, but this town's got to have a name. I need to look up on my GPS because it's a prosperous town and it's a lot of people, and I see a lot of churches. I wish I could stop off and drop off music, but Jonah's in the Roadrunner move. He says I made agreement I do not like that he'd only drop off music on my day offs. He does now. He's gotten out of driving me to church since he's not and I really now he's gotten he chewed me out of passing my music out churches only on the day off, and I really wish I didn't agree to that. Because I've written beautiful songs and I want to see them used at different churches. I had my first prosperity with CCLI, Christian Copyright Licensing International. They gave me a real healthy check for dropping my music off at different churches, which was the biggest check I've ever had. And it was an elephant, not a mouse. It was a nice, healthy check, and I do want to thank the churches throughout the United States that used my music through CCLI, Christian Copyright Licensing, and made it all possible. Wow. If I was an entertainer, I would love to get a job in this town. It's, wow. It's $17.25 an hour for employment.
I think this is Morgantown.
Morgantown. So, they have such pretty women in Morgantown. So this is wow. Morgantown. I really love Morgantown. Jonah, can you get us some places to play in Morgantown? Because they have so many beautiful churches here. We just went by a big Methodist mega church that had 3 services, and how I would love to have left my music for them. I want you all to keep your fingers crossed for me and prayers, because my cousin that's married I have 2 cousins on my Caucasian side and on my African American side that belong to the United Methodist Church, and they told me that the United Methodist Church was renewing their hymnal, and I submitted something like 225 hymns for their new hymnal. And please keep your fingers crossed that my music gets added to the new United Methodist hymnal. I need positive things. I also want to get on the, call it the Gorgerbird Show. I feel I'd be perfect on there if they would interview me and Jonah as musicians. I know Jonah tried before and he never heard back from them. But I want him to try again with our new album, because I feel that I'd be perfect on that show. Well, I am glad to be back in West Virginia, and then we're going to Baltimore. We're going to Baltimore, Maryland, where my favorite railroad I saw go by. I never got to ride it, but I saw it, the Chesapeake and Ohio Railroad. It was eaten up by first Conrail, and then it got eaten up again by CSX Freight, which is big in the Midwest and back east, Norfolk and Western, and CSX bought out Conrail, which was the New Haven Railroad was swallowed up, and Conrail and the New York Central, Pennsylvania Railroad. My favorite old-time railroad, the Erie-Lackawanna Railroad, and LNN got swallowed up. Everything just about there, Norfolk and Western and CSX swallowed up all the main railroads from the Midwest and back east. And then when you go back to Los Angeles and go to the other states, the Union Pacific swallowed up, ate up the Chicago Northwestern, the Grand Trunk, all the the big railroads that are from Southwest, and they ate up the Southern Pacific as well, and so it's only two big railroads in the Southwest going toward the Santa Fe and Burlington, which is now emerged as one railroad, and the Union Pacific. They're the two big railroads. I am so upset with myself that Jonah was rushing me out, and I left my breakfast. I had a big plate of bacon. I love bacon. I had a big plate of sausage, potatoes, and German gravy. I'm part German, and I love German food. I like Black Forest cake. I like pretzels. I like sauerkraut. I like all kinds of sausage. The opposite of Jonah. He's a vegetarian. I've gone back to being carnivorous, but I used to be a vegetarian. But one of these days, well, we're back on the freeway again, leaving Morgantown, heading to Baltimore, Ohio. We're going to stay with Jonah's friend. I guess I'm going to have to suffer and eat his food. I hope he doesn't have any weird monster food that'll eat me up. I just wish I didn't leave my food behind. And I left my bottle of water behind. It's just really terrible. So I'm seeing these big houses that have big afros on them. My goodness. You got big roofs on them. The roofs are bigger than the house. I call these afro houses. I mean, they got more hair than body. I mean, they're beautiful homes, but they're all too close together. They're so close together, people can bump and dance together and rub up against each other. Man, that's a romantic building. I really want to be booked in Morgantown. I like this town. It's really a lot of people. Now we're in Stewarttown Road. I have family from Pennsylvania. We're out of Pennsylvania that were Amish and Midianites on my dad's side. When I would go to the Quakers were famous for a Quaker Oats meal, and they unfortunately sold their empire to Kraft. Kraft seems to have merged and bought up a lot of small companies. I hope that we get where we go before it starts raining. I took a whole big bag of food to feed a homeless person. I said he's hungry, and I brought him a big bag of food, and I accidentally put my Jerry Lewis Inquirer in there, and I accidentally put all my tea bags I got from all the banks and the hotels I stayed in there. And I just gotta stop having those forget-me-nots. The forget-me-nots are terrible. So I think what I'm gonna do next time I get a plate of food or get some stuff, I'm gonna see it taken immediately to the car, the truck, so this doesn't happen again. So anyway, we're back on a little town country road. And going through Morgantown, West Virginia, where we on our way coming up from North Carolina, we did shows in Virginia, Rich Virginia, and West Virginia.
I think we're in Pennsylvania.
No, we're in West Virginia.
Really?
Yes, it said welcome to West Virginia. Back when we were on the freeway, so we're out in Pennsylvania. So, that's about all. I just want to thank you for watching the David Lieberhard broadcast, where you can hear where a star is born and a song is born.
You know what I was thinking? Remember we thought of another song idea last night when we got to the hotel about the lady that gave you two 2 cookies and 2 bags of chips. You want to sing that one?
2 cookies and 2 bags of chips from an old lady that sounds and looks English. She looks like the woman from the murder she wrote. She gave me life, don't you know? She gave me 2 bags of cookies and a bottle of water. She gave me 2 bags of cookies and 2 bags of potato chips. She was a sweet old lady from what's the treetop? The treetop.
Doubletree.
The Doubletree Hotel. She made us feel welcome and well. I want to go there and stay again. The Marriott was cool. We had our separate bedrooms too. I like both places. I want to stay again. But I had the forgetments and left my breakfast. I left my German sausage with all kinds of gravy and potatoes behind and bacon. And they had the best coffee. My goodness, why, God. That's it.
Beautiful. Adventures with David signing off.
Thank you. Adios. Jonah's favorite restaurants are all Latino. Adios.
Adios.
And sometimes he doesn't even hear. I have to repeat things twice like an Hispanic because he don't hear no English.
Sometimes I don't hear.
Goodbye.
Bye.